I want to talk about simply resolution mechanics.
Andrew goes on to describe a lot of different resolution mechanics in TTRPGs, like D20 plus mods against a certain DC, or 2d6 against set DCs or set target numbers like in Powered by the Apocalypse, or any number of dice in a dice pool against certain number of successes that you're trying to get, like Shadowrun or Vampire the Masquerade. These are all classic ways of resolving character actions in a game. And he went on to ask, what is your favorite game resolution mechanic? And I'm going to be a little bit self-serving here and talk about a game resolution mechanic that I am designing as part of my new tabletop role-playing game, The Beckoning Dream. The Beckoning Dream is a tarot-based deck-building game, meaning that your character is represented by a deck of tarot cards that you construct in order to represent their abilities. And then you resolve things by playing cards from your hand, and the GM plays cards from their hand to combat them. The way that these resolve is that you first compare them in order to give them a score, and this happens in two different ways. First, you compare values. Let's say that I was playing over here and I played the 5 of Pentacles against the GM's 4 of Cups. 5 is bigger than 4, but it is not bigger than double it. So I would score a success. Had it been double, I would have scored a triumph, basically a crit. And if they were equal, we would have both scored a clash, meaning that we both do the same amount of stuff. And if I had been less than, so let's say the 2 of Pentacles, I would have scored a setback, meaning I get to do less, and this would have scored a success, they get to do more. Basically, the more that you score, the higher up your score is from setback to triumph, the more stuff you get to pick in the next phase. Very similar to Powered by the Apocalypse, where you can pick from little menus of choices. However, there is one other thing on these cards that's very important, and that is their suit. We're not just comparing values, we're comparing suit. In this example, Pentacles versus Cups, it doesn't matter. It's just about the value. However, had I played the 3 of Wands, one would think I'm about to lose and have a bad time, because 3 is less than 4. However, Wands counter Cups. So what that means is that I still score a setback. My value is still lower, 3 is lower than 4, so I still only score a setback. However, instead of the 4 scoring a success because it is bigger, it scores a countered, because Wands counters Cups, which means that even though it had the higher value, it gets to choose nothing. Get wrecked. And this ends up being a pretty critical part of the gameplay loop of the Beckoning Dream, where you are trying to predict what your opponent is likely to play so that you can probably counter them. Because against the beginning enemies of the game, you are going to be outmatched. You're going to be up against higher value cards. You need to play smart and use teamwork in order to defeat those powerful enemies. And if you'd like to know more about this, go to the website that's in my bio link, day20.org. There is a little Discord server icon on there. Click on that and you can join to follow along with the development of the Beckoning Dream, along with the development of a bunch of other games that myself and some other creators are building. So hop on there and let's have a fun time.